Hi, this is Phil Mendenhall, your host of Wild Resources. Today I'm just going to give an introduction of who I am and where I come from and why I think I should be helping share some information with the rest of the world out there. Raised in Benton, Illinois, where my father was putting in Rend Lake and lobbied Congress in Washington to get that lake put in. From the minute I could walk, I had a fishing rod in my hand. My mom loved to fish, so she kind of put it on all of us kids. My dad was a forester and he loved the outdoors. So he took us around and showed us all the trees and taught us what everything was out in the woods, taught us to shoot safely. And I was always fishing or in some ditch or pond up to my neck in mud and water. We always just enjoyed going out in the outdoors. We were always building forts out in the woods and such to just see what we could do. We started riding our bikes at a very young age, and we always had to work for everything we wanted. We were never given anything. Just to give you information on if I wanted a baseball glove, I had to catch 100 throws in a row without dropping one. I think I probably wore my dad's arm out. All of us boys had to do that. I came from a family of 5 children and 2 parents. So then we moved to Mount Carmel when I was in 4th grade, and we lived by the Wabash River, and you could find me down there all the time on my bicycle. I was fishing or gigging fish or riding my bike through the waters that were up to my seat on my bicycle. My buddy and I were always down there gigging all the time. Then we learned to hunt together. He got a 16 gauge shotgun, and we went out and started shooting everything that we could find. And instead of the game animals we were supposed to be after, which stupid kids do. But I started my hunting career back then, and when I was in Boy Scouts, I made it to Life Scout, which is almost Eagle. And one of the boys brought in some traps that he'd been trapping with and showed them to us, and I was just totally enamored. So I wanted to start trapping. I read every outdoor magazine from the minute I could read. I was reading Outdoor Life and Field and Stream. Those were about the only things that were available back then. But I just loved the outdoors, read all the books, The Call of the Wild, and all these adventures of people going into the Arctic. So I started my trapping career when I was about 19 years old. I lived off of the meat, the beavers. I always ground up beaver meat and had tons of beaver chili and beaver spaghetti and beaver meatloaf and everything else, and smoked haunches out on the grill. I was very poor when I was a younger man. I'd lived in Vermont a few years, worked at ski resorts up there, and got used to the cold. I never did get used to it, 20 below zero temperatures, and I decided I was going to move back to Southern Illinois. So I came back here, got a degree in coal mining technology and a 4-year degree in industrial and mining technology, and all the mines were shutting down about the time I got my degree. And so I went on and got a nursing degree, as everybody was hiring nurses, so I became a nurse. Was a nurse for about 35 years, still kept on trapping whenever I could, and hunting and fishing. Been hunting deer since I got back into Illinois in about 1978. And hunting squirrel, I got my first shotgun when I was like 21. My wife bought me a 12 gauge Remington pump, and boy, that thing's paid for itself a million times over with the deer and squirrels and rabbits and birds that it's shot, and kept my freezers filled. So I don't know, as I got older, I started teaching hunter safety classes. I've been doing that for probably 11 years now, and I've been teaching off and on trapper education classes, which we have to have in Illinois before you can get your trapping license. So I teach ethics and all that with those classes. But anyway, I got into farming. We bought a piece of land, 34 acres, about 12 years ago. I wanted to start growing organic vegetables, so we bought 200 blueberry bushes and 25 blackberry bushes and 200 asparagus crowns and a bunch of fruit trees, apples, peaches, cherries, and pears. And I planted all that stuff, built a greenhouse with a government grant, which was really handy. It paid basically for the whole 30 by 96 greenhouse. Had all my ups and downs with it. Tried doing farmers markets. That was really tough to do. I was working 2 jobs and cut hay, and finally started raising some beef so that I could feed all my extra hay to the cows. Ended up now got about 37 head of cattle right now. Just had a couple calves born this last week. And so I started into the grass-fed beef business. We started buying chickens way back when, and we converted in our old barn one of our horse stalls into a chicken coop. Turned it into ironclad Fort Knox to keep all the coons and critters out of there that love to eat chickens all the time. Only problem we've had is with foxes, because we free range our chickens. We have trouble with foxes and hawks and coyotes, and neighbors' dogs are probably the biggest predators of everything. They just come in and kill a bunch of chickens at once and leave them out in the yard. It's just for sport for them. We raise our own eggs and our own chickens and our own beef, and I still hunt deer. Slowed down on the trapping a little bit. Getting older, and I just don't feel like putting out 125 traps at a time and running them in a boat in the really cold weather. I just wanted to give you an introduction of who I am and how I got to where I am, and so you'll get 60 years of experience from me, learning as I went. Maybe I can eliminate some of your mistakes as you go, and you can learn something new from these videos. So stay tuned, and we'll have some more videos coming in. Wish you good luck. Bye.